The Eitz Ratzon this Thursday afternoon, Joffe, the 25th day in the month of Iyar and the 10th day in the civil month of May. In the Winter Olympic year of 2018, as we await kickoff in the World Cup, the FIFA Mondial in Russia on Thursday, the 14th of June 2018, as Russia kicks off Group A to the KSA, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, at 1800 local Johannesburg time in Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. And that'll be in about 35 days time, and that's 5 weeks time and counting until kickoff of the World Cup in Moscow. So now you know where we are in space and time. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, and before we go any further, let's stop and count the Omer. Ready? Last night we counted the 40th day of the Omer. Yeah, 40 days, which is about 5 weeks and 5 days of the Omer, and by my calculation, there are 9 days remaining, which is about 1 week and 2 days left in the Omer. So here we are on the 40th day of the Omer, and the mystical designation of this day in the Omer is Hod Sheba Yesod, as we orbit deeper into the Omer. And to quote one of my rabbis, don't count the days. Yeah, make the days count. So there's your lesson and motivation for this day in the Omer. Don't count the days, make the days count. Don't count them often, forget about them, but make each and every day count individually and for itself. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends. I'm Justin Joffe, broadcasting from the leafy suburb of Norwood in the hectic city of Johannesburg in the Rainbow Nation of South Africa, and this is the Eitz Ratzon on 20chai.co.za as we go around the Jewish world and take a humorous and irreverent look at everything new under the sun, under the stars, under the planets and constellations, and of course under the Jewish moon as it orbits bright and white high up above. I'm Justin Joffe, and join me on my journey this week as we visit the people and places behind the news, and as we cast an irreverent glance at the calendar and at the luach and at everything in between for a laugh and a smile as we take a look at the events of the week gone by and at the calendar ahead. I'm Justin Joffe in Johannesburg, so fasten your seatbelts, switch on your headsets, and let's set out on our journey through space and time with the Eitz Ratzon. This is the Eitz Ratzon as we take a look at the luach, at the Jewish calendar, and we see that it's Joffe, the 25th day in the month of Iyar and the 40th day of the Omer. And here at the Eitz Ratzon, we love the calendar and flags and anthems, so let's take a look at the calendar on the wall right. Thursday, the 10th of May. 40 days after Easter Sunday makes today. Hands up if you know. Anybody? Hands up. What is today? Yes, you. In the blue jacket in the front. Today is very good. Ascension Day. Yes. Thursday that is celebrated 40 days after Easter Sunday. So if you're a Catholic, we wish you a blessed Ascension Day. Yes, Ascension Day is the Thursday of the week preceding the week of Pentecost and about 10 days before Pentecost. So here we are on Thursday, 10 days before Shavuot, so it must be Ascension Day. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, as we look at the calendar and we see that we're orbiting towards the end of the lunar cycle for the month of Iyar, and we're approaching Rosh Chodesh, and I will be mentioning the times and phases of the moon and the time for the Molad and the details for Rosh Chodesh in the vital statistics for Shabbat a little bit later on. So keep listening and don't stray or go away. Let's keep our eyes on the calendar, and inshallah, with the help of merciful Allah, we are orbiting up to the start of the holy month of Ramadan on Tuesday next week. And of course, Ramadan is probably the single biggest religious event on any calendar in the world, with up to 1 billion Muslim people observing the fasting month of Ramadan all over the world. So, synchronize your calendars, set your clocks. Ramadan and Rosh Chodesh for the new month of Sivan will be on Monday night and Tuesday next week. Haba Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael Tovah. May the new month come to us and for all Israel for the good. Amen. And of course, we wish our Muslim friends and listeners strength and courage for the month of Ramadan ahead. And every week, I will be announcing the times for Seri and Iftar in Johannesburg as we orbit through the month of Ramadan. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, and see what fun we can have when we look at the calendar and see what we can learn and discover. What is that music? What is that music, I say? That music is the Russian anthem coming to you from the vast expanse of Red Square in Moscow. So, Zdravstvuyte, moj voj stari drug. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, and here at the Eitz Ratzon, we love the calendar and the flags and the parades and the anthems. So let's look for some flags and anthems and a great big parade. And what do we find? Yes, look at the date yesterday, the 9th of May. Doesn't that spell VE Day, Victory Day in Europe? When the Soviet Red Army finally defeated the Third Reich and brought an end to the Second World War and an end to the Holocaust and the genocide that was Western Europe 73 years ago. And yesterday was Deni Pabeni, the Victory Day over the Third Reich and Nazism. And the Eitz Ratzon salutes the Soviet Union and the Allies for defeating the Reich and for bringing an end to the Second World War. Of course, one of the biggest Victory Day parades in the world was held in Red Square in the very heart of Moscow yesterday, and to celebrate and commemorate the heroic victory in the Great Patriotic War, where some 27 million Soviet citizens perished in the struggle against the forces of the Reich. To this day, Victory Day is celebrated with flags and ribbons, medals, uniforms, and a massive military parade through Red Square in front of the Kremlin, where the Tsar of Russia, he's not really the Tsar, but the President Vladimir Putin, leads the cheer and takes the salute. So let's keep listening to the Russian anthem as we remember VE Day 73 years on. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends. Eitz Ratzon means the moment of grace and acceptance, the moments of goodwill and favor as the work week draws to a close and as the sanctity of the Sabbath, the Kedushat Shabbat, comes to the hectic city. It's in these moments that we pause, we enjoy the special and powerful time as we prepare to welcome the Spirit, the grace, the awe and the sanctity of Holy Shabbat into our homes and into our lives once again. These are the moments of the Eitz Ratzon as we take a look around us at all that we have in our lives, and we take a humorous and irreverent look at the events of the week gone by and at the calendar ahead. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, and let's take a look at the vital statistics for the approaching Shabbat ahead. Of course, this Shabbat is the Shabbat on which we read the double parashiot of Bahar and Bechukotai, with which we conclude the reading of the third book of the 5 books of the Holy Torah, the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, and it's also Shabbat Mevarchim Rosh Chodesh, the Shabbat on which we invoke divine aid and blessing on the new month ahead and announce the details for Rosh Chodesh. So ladies and girls, ignition time for candles in Johannesburg on Friday this week will be around 10 past 5 on Friday afternoon. Civil sunset follows at 17:31, 29 minutes to 6 on Friday evening, and the sun will rise on Shabbat morning, 6:37, 23 minutes to 7 on Saturday morning, and the sun will set on the Sabbath day at 17:30, 5:30 exactly on Saturday afternoon. And the length of the Sabbath day will be in the order of 10 hours, 53 minutes and 29 seconds, which is now 66 seconds or 1 minute, 6 seconds shorter than yesterday. Yes, it seems like a little, but as the days and the weeks go by, that little difference every day will make a big difference, and the days are getting much shorter already. So ignite those candles warm and bright, 10 past 5 Friday afternoon. The ignition and benediction sequences are standard for any ordinary Shabbat with a standard format bracha. Lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Haftalah and the start of the new week is around 18:05, 5 past 6 on Saturday evening. So the very important business of the Saturday evening date can start at about 5 past 6 on Saturday evening. Hang on a second. Rabbi, are we allowed to go on a date during the Omer? I've been asking, I never get an answer. The duration of the Shabbat by my calculation is around 24 hours and about 55 minutes of natural and unimposed Shabbat time. Okay, let's go outside and take a look at the moon. Right. The moon is in the waning phase and it's getting smaller by the day as we orbit up to the end of the lunar cycle for the month of Iyar and up to Rosh Chodesh for the start of the new lunar cycle for the month of Sivan. Haba Aleinu Val Kol Yisrael L'Tova. May the new month come to us for all and all Israel for the good. Amen. The moon will rise at 3:19, 1 minute before 20 past 3 on Saturday morning, and the moon will set at 15:41, 19 minutes before 4 on Saturday afternoon as you're enjoying some kind of tea time on a Shabbat afternoon. Wind of the moon, when the moon's at its highest point in its transit through the heavens, will be at 9:32, some 2 minutes after 9:30 Saturday morning, and the moon will achieve an elevation of 63.3 degrees above the horizon. Fraction of the moon illuminated will be a small 12.6% as we orbit towards new moon, Rosh Chodesh, on Tuesday. Right, very important. The times for the Molad and Rosh Chodesh, get ready and take notes. The new moon will appear over Yerushalayim at 5:21 and 6 Chalakim, 5:21 and 6/18 minutes or 20 seconds on Tuesday morning, and Rosh Chodesh for the new month of Sivan will be on Monday night and all day Tuesday. Haba Aleinu Val Kol Yisrael L'Tova. May it come to us and all Israel for the good. Amen. So remember to include Hallel and Ya'aleh V'Yavo and Borchi Nafshi in your prayers on Rosh Chodesh, which is on Monday evening and all day Tuesday. These are times and phases of the moon on Shabbat Kodesh, Bahar B'chukotai, on Chaf Zayin, the 27th day of the month of Iyar. This is the Eitz Ratzon, my friends, moments of goodwill and acceptance, the moments of grace and favor, the time of eminence and sanctity as Friday afternoon transitions into Kedushat Shabbat, the sanctity of Shabbat at the speed of the rapidly setting winter sun. So let's use these precious and holy moments to dedicate a wish, a hope, a dream and a prayer to a near one, a dear one, a loved one, a family member or a friend, or anyone who needs divine intervention in their lives. The dedication this week is in honor of VE Day, which was commemorated and celebrated around the Soviet world yesterday, and it's an anthem of sort. Well, it's a Russian folk song all about Ekaterina, or Catherine, yes, and in Russian, Katyusha, who was the sweetheart of a generation of Russian soldiers who were fighting the Reich on the steppes and in the cities of Western Russia. The folk song became an anthem that won the Second World War. So stop what you're doing and pause for a while, turn up the volume and put on your dancing shoes as we dust off the accordions and take a modern look at the folk song that became an anthem 3 generations ago. If you don't know the Russian words, then hum along and dance around with Katyusha. The Eitz Ratzon salutes the veterans and commemorates Deni Pombedi, Victory Day in the Soviet Union.
Расцветали яблони и груши. души поплыли туманы над рекой. Мы ходили на берег, Катюша, на высокий берег над крутой. Мы ходили на берег, Катюша, на высокий берег над крутой.
The Eitz Ratzon is devised and produced by Justin Joffe in Johannesburg with technical support and production by Elan Vidiga. And of course, the Eitz Ratzon would like to extend Mazal Tov, happy birthday, Yom Huledet Sameach to Elan, who celebrates his birthday this Shabbat. So Mazal Tov, Chazaku Baruch, and Yom Huledet Sameach to Elan. The Eitz Ratzon is recorded at Resnick Studios in Johannesburg and is proudly presented to you on the 20 Chai platform. All music is sourced from YouTube, and if you'd like to communicate with the Eitz Ratzon, please send your comments and suggestions to radioratzon@gmail.com. I repeat, radioratzon@gmail.com. Radio, RADIO, RATZON, radioratzon@gmail.com, radioratzon@gmail.com, and I promise that I'll respond to every letter that I receive. Until we meet next time, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Kol Tov, and Am Yisrael Chai.